So thanks for coming. As an introduction, I will just a little bit introduce myself. So I am Pierre Marmignon from France, and I am mainly now, because of the citrixtools.net website you may know about, and lots of the tools I have published on it. I also created last year a website called virtualdesktops.info, where I published VUEM, the tool we will talk about here. So, on my background, I've been doing Citrix consultancy for 12 years now, and now I am working mainly with enterprise accounts in France for design and automation purposes. So, for big, let's say, virtual desktop project. That's not VDI. VDI is only a small part of it. So it won't be a marketing presentation, so please feel free to ask for some questions, because actually VUEM is my baby. That's the software I've developed. I've been working on it for some years, and now I want to get your feedback, to get your expectations. I will explain you why I decided to create this software, and what it is now, because I first published it 1 year ago, and I made some section about it at Bright Forum last year. Maybe you have heard about it, and now the product has changed. There is a new version, and that's the one we will talk about. And then some insights on what's inside, how it's working, and then I will share some internals with you, and I will do a demo. So I have only 45 minutes, so the idea is to go a little bit fast on all the concepts, the basic stuff, then to focus on demo and to show you how it really works. So maybe, could you please start? That it's then we set it to 14, let's say 14. No? No. 40, yes. Thank you. So, that's a user pissed because he has bad login times. And for 12 years, I have been working with customers that were calling me for bad login times. And that's it. So, I have always worked on it. Mainly, I was doing scripting. I was using UPN flex profiles when it was existing, because I wanted to reach the 10 seconds limit. That was my deal, and that's also why I started to work on how to improve login times. Because why? 3 years ago, when I started to work on the development, I had to work with scripts. Also, what I forgot to mention is that I am the manager of a 15 Citrix consultant team. So when you know how to script, it's easy, but you can't ask all your mates to script like you. And some will like PowerShell, some will like VBS, some will still rely on scripts or kicks or batch files or something. I've seen some kind of VUEM, it was just a batch using robocopy to copy shortcuts with permissions. So you can find everything. And I was working with the big companies on the market, but there were some problems, more about around price, because not with the technology or something, but because of the price. It was added a high value to the project. So it was the first thing that the customer wanted to remove. And relying on script on GPP is not that good. How many of you are using group policy preferences? And do you like it from management perspective, or also for a logon time increase perspective? Because it's okay? Because from what I've seen, the more time it's in production, the more the logons are long. And I was talking with a customer this week. It was 1 minute logon at the beginning of the project, and now it's 3 minutes logon. And as the time goes on, because of their history engine, which is based on XML files, and the engine is parsing all the XML files, it's getting longer and longer. And also, it's not that easy to manage. For example, if you create a shortcut, you want to remove the shortcut, you need to create a new policy to remove the shortcut. So it's not handy. And sometimes what I found is that it's really better to create your own scripts than to use group policy preferences from a logon experience point of view, not from a management side. So I decided to get rid of free-range scripting. I used BRS Suite. Does anyone know about it? It was a guy from Belgium called Fabrice Cornet. Okay, and he did a nice tool. It was doing the basic things for any Citrix consultant. Actually, it was doing shortcuts, network drive, network printers, and ports. But that was just enough for, let's say, 80–90% of the project. And it was working with the SQL database. You had the management console, a basic one, and you had an agent. But I had some troubles with the agent, so I talked with Fabrice and we started working on it, but then he canceled the project. So what I did is I developed a new agent and I used the console. And the agent was an intelligent VBS script that was able to query the SQL database. But anyway, I have deployed this on an environment like up to 8,000 users, Citrix users, and it's still working with 4 seconds logon times. So that was the idea. I wanted to get rid of an external console I was not developing, because you are stuck. If you want to add something, you cannot, because you do not own the console code, and that's how it started. So I wanted to get rid of login scripts, to get rid of GPPs, and I wanted it to be a no-brainer, because if it's too complex, it's really difficult to deploy, and also then it's not all about deployment, because I have only all smart guy here, so for us it's not difficult to understand and to use a difficult solution that is complex to integrate, to manage. But for the basic admins, the guy that then will take the project and run it, it's a nightmare. You know, they just want to have a single button. If they have more than a single button, you know, they can't match their sockets. So we will have some trouble there. And even if it's simple, sometimes it's not enough, because I don't know how it is in your country, but in France, actually, we have more and more basic admins. They don't know what they are doing, and they just want a fucking button. And if the fucking button is asking for something, they just want to remove the message box because they don't want to select anything. So, and more when customers are working now with hosters, this is worst, actually. That's what I've noticed, because hosters guy, they're literally to push the button. They don't want to understand. And if they have to do something, for example, I have a big customer, he is hosted, and he's using PVS. And the hoster has the responsibility to modify the image, but it's too complicated to launch the image cloning tool from Citrix, so they were not launching it because it was too complicated. And then they were complaining they had some troubles. So that's a few basic admin things, but at the end of the day, we are creating and investing lots of time and experience to create these environments, and then it sucks, but not because we did the bad work, because the guys that have to take care of it are not enough skilled. And I wanted also it to have a high-speed execution time, so to be as fast as possible. Just working on the perception the user have, the performance of the virtual on your desktop or virtual applications. It's also because of the login times. And I have been working with Atlantis Computing a lot to improve I/O in virtual environments. And then when you have improved I/O, the next question is, how about my logons? Why did it not enhance my logons? So that was my idea. So I started coding still doing the Citrix tool stuff, by the way, but I started coding, and last year I released it as a free community edition. So the idea was to make it free for the community, but if you want to have support, you need to pay. So it worked, but to be honest, it worked only with hosters in the US, with hosters also in the Netherlands and in France, but really small things. And the more we were talking with potential customers, because they liked the tool, they said we don't want to pay only a fee every year. We want to pay a perpetual license. So, and if you don't have a team behind it, it's also quite dangerous for us to rely on a community solution. So it was, like, for me, it was a big deal because I wanted it to be a community, to still have a community release, but I wanted also to have some guys to improve the code and to have new features. So what we decided to do is that we have improved it, and in the new version I will present you about, we aim to have all VUEM features needed to replace GPU or GPPs. And let's say, in my view, my consultant view, it's what 80 to 85% of my customers are expecting from such a solution. So we wanted to keep it very simple. Actually, we just won a 27,000 users deal, which is pretty huge, which is also, we are proud about it because we were not alone on such a deal, as you can imagine. So it was really a nice thing to win it, and it took 5 days to set it up for the whole deployment. So they had 2 minutes and 30 seconds login before the tool because of GPPs and scripts, with things like first logon, 3 scripts, error message or something. Now they have 10 seconds login, same infrastructure, just getting rid of the scripts and the GPPs.
In that, who did the work? Was it you and your team, or did you use a local partner to deliver that implementation?
Like?
To actually do the installation, did you do the work, or was it?
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it, yes.
And do you think that in cases like that, that there'll be companies who'll be able to do that for you?
For me?
Yeah, those deployments.
Oh, yes. The goal is to have partners.
Yeah.
Yes. I did it because, also on such a deal, it was also important to say the guy that is behind the technology will do the job.
Yeah.
It was also something to add, to the discussion. But I will show you the interface. If you want to try it, we have created a special email alias for the conference, so please feel free to send us an email, and we can also give small license package without any expirations, just if you want to play with it. I have some partners that are using it at home to secure their own domain, so it's quite funny. But some guys in my team also asked, can you give me 10 or 20 free licenses just for us to lock down the computer at home? So the idea is we have also performance management, but we will never go to a complex solution. Which means for some use cases we won't fit, but we don't want to reach the complexity where we will introduce some kind of lock-in so that it still works when you remove the tool, because we are using Microsoft settings only, and we wanted to keep it very competitive. So I'm not allowed to say cheap, but I say competitive. Actually, the price is €28 per user, and it's the public price, or $38. So I hope it will be something like you will find honest. Actually, it's just the price of a product. It's still a product without being like just a tool, but it's enough for us to have a development team and to work on it and to have a good support team. So that's the idea. And as we don't want it to keep it complex, we won't go to really high features, but we still have lots of nice features. So how did we decide to lock down the features? Actually, you have the community edition and the enterprise edition. So the community edition has features that were embedded in the version we released 1 year ago. So the idea was at first that if you were subscribing, you were entitled to get the updates. So what we did, not to be bad with the community edition, we just locked the new features only in the enterprise edition. So if you knew the enterprise edition 1 year ago, you will still have the same feature set, except the performance management that has been completely rewritten. But you will have what you need to replace login through GPPs, create shortcut, network printer mapping. You will also have the ability to customize, and you will have offline mode access. But all we did, or we have rewritten since last year in the new version, it is locked to the enterprise edition.
Yeah, is there any PowerShell support then, just for scripting actions into the tool?
You have external tasks support. So external task is what you want to run. Any kind of.
That's running actions from the tool.
Yes.
Talking about running actions to do something in the tool.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. For now, there is no SDK on it. You can, although you can use SQL queries to automate some actions in the database because it's not a crypted database. For now, there is no other way to automate some actions. But you can import, export what you have created in Enterprise Edition.
I don't think PowerShell is a good idea for logon ideas, for logon things. It takes.
I don't think it too. I don't think it too.
It takes 10 seconds itself for loading.
But in this case, in this case, it was just to have some management interface, another interface apart from the GUI. Yes. But that's on the roadmap. So it's using .NET Framework 4. So you need .NET Framework. On the build side, SQL Server for the backend database. So Express is supported. It's starting with 2005. So as the database is only storing static informations, it won't grow that much. We have a first level of reporting regarding the connections that are done, but that's it. That's only small information, so it won't grow. So you can use it in your standard deployment using SQL Express if you want.
And does the database need to be online for the clients to work, or does the database just need to be?
There is a localhost cache, yeah. Yes, which is relying on SQL Server Compact Edition. And SQL Server Compact Edition, if you don't know about it, it's just a set of DLLs that allows to create a file-based SQL system, but Microsoft is providing APIs to synchronize a SQL database to a SQL Compact database. So all the offline mode system is managed by Microsoft provided APIs. So that's working quite well, and it's also in the free edition. So you just have to enable it. It's not enabled by default. Yes?
You have 24-hour support in the enterprise version?
No, not yet.
Is that
it will? Yes, it will be on by the end of the year. We are working on it because.
How many people are you working on getting inquiries on? Is it just you? Or?
We can talk about it after if you want, because the time is running. But I can give you some insight of the roadmap and all the headcounts we are planning to have by the end of the year. No, because we are working with partners actually. So they are providing the call center and taking care of the first level things, and then we have an escalation system. It's easier. The most difficult thing in France is to find a provider that speaks English. So, and believe me, you can find 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's quite easy, but as long as you say they have to speak English, it's not really difficult. So, so I will be fast on the actions, just to see if the demo board is here today. But the idea is that you have actions that you can apply with filters to items. Items are Active Directory user or Active Directory groups. So it requires a Microsoft backend, an Active Directory backend. So I have listed here the actions. So we have application shortcuts, printers, network drive, virtual drive, registry entries, environment variables, ports, ini files, which means writing into an ini file, external tasks, folder and files operation, file copy, folder copy, user TSA creation and files associations. So that's what, when I designed this action list, that was what I would need to do everything, to replace login tree, GPPs. And with external tasks, you can run whatever you want. It can be an exe file, it can be a PowerShell script, even if it's not a good idea. Or it can be an extra to have a customer reading background information, so that it can be refreshed with a client name in it. I have another customer that are launching RES VDX as an external task because they don't want to add a script to do this or a policy to do this. So you can do what you want. Then it's open. The same are for the filters. You can use computer name, client name, blah blah blah, and even XNAP version, XNAP file name, XNAP zone name, or also the PVS IMHT, client OS Active Directory properties. So a custom WMI query if you don't find what you need in it. So could be really useful, for example, to have the PVS IMHT here. I will talk more about it in my next session, but I created an autologon script that is launching all applications, and then I developed a small tool that is closing them gracefully. So this script is run only when in PVS shared mode. So when the provision VM is started, the autologon proceed, VUEM launch all applications. So the shared memory is populated, the PVS cache is populated. So all logons on the moment are just like that because everything has been launched before. You may have noticed the first logon effect on the XNAP box, for example. So that's why I've added this condition, just to be able to play with the PVS without having to do some discovering in fucking ini files or something, because it's not that easy to know if you are in standard or share mode. No, either way. Sorry. So we also have, apart from action system utilities, it's all about performances. So we have fast logoff, useful for Citrix published desktop, for example, disconnecting the session as soon as the logoff is received. CPU management, spikes protection, lowering priority when a process takes too much. CPU memory management, it's memory optimization, calling some Windows APIs for the application to lower the memory they are using. So it's not dynamic, it's only for idle applications. You can't work dynamically with such APIs on active applications. And processes management. So it's blacklist, whitelist of processes, but relying on the Microsoft filter driver.
Here, the CPU management, is that, can that cooperate with the Citrix way of CPU management?
Yes.
Or do you need to disable one of the two?
No, you can use both, because they are not doing the same thing. Citrix is doing fair share, which means sharing the CPU between all users. We are just preventing a process to spike. Actually, we let him spike, but as we decrease the priority, it's not hurting the system anymore. And then we are decreasing the priority and then set it back to normal. And if it still spikes, we set it back to either. That's like that. So that works with Citrix management. And environmental settings is one of the great additions we have made to the new version. So the new version has been released something like 1 month ago. So it's pretty new, even if it's been used by our customers for something like 8 months, I would say. Environmental settings, the idea is to replace all group policy settings. You need to create, to manage your desktop or your Windows Explorer, but also, the nasty one, just like hide administrative tools, just like you won't need hide calc anymore, you just have to select the letter you want to remove. Even the network libraries in Windows 2008 R2, you need to create your custom at the end. with a specific ID to hide the folder. Everything is included, you just have to check the box or not. And you can also select Windows 7 theme, Aero style, for example, directly. For most of the settings, not all actually, but let's say 80%, 90%, we have also found some nice APIs, a way to refresh them without having to log off. So if you have some time, I will show it during the demo. We are not doing any profile management. It's all about workspace management, because we really believe that you have really nice solutions on the market provided by Citrix or VMware, and we added Citrix UPM management, which means if you are using UPM, and that's what our big customer is doing, you will still use UPM, but you won't have to configure it through group policy. We just have to configure it into the VUEM console, and that will do the job, which means a single point of configuration for both tools. So, in the new version, we have only one agent package that was a complaint before, because on the first version we had 3 packages. So now we have an administration console package that you can install on any admin workstation, and that will create a database and configure the database. Then you have clients. It can be Xen app server, Xen desktop VMs, or even fat desktops. There is no limitation about this. And you have 2 flavors of agents. The first one is resident in memory and displaying a UI with an icon to call some self-service functions. The other one is a console application, so it launches just like a login thread. And they will also connect to the database server. And with the agent, we have a service running. The difference was that the service was provided as an external MSI. Now, all is in the agent package, because the service is doing some nice things, like offline mode or something. So we decided with the feedback to gather it. So you just have to push the MSIs, the agent MSIs, and then you will have an ADM to configure the agents. So the agents just need the database server name, the database name, and eventually a site name, because you have a logic where you have sites, and then each site is managing all configured settings for a category of desktops or something. And if you don't specify any site name, it will be the default site. So unless you rename it, you don't have to specify it. If you are using custom site, you just need to do this. And within group policy refresh interval, the agent will be noticed that the configuration has changed. So we decided not to add any settings inside the MSIs, so that if you need to migrate or to change settings, it will be easier. So the database is using lots of tables, but everything but password is not encrypted. So when you specify some password, of course, they are encrypted. And we just decided to keep it simple. So we have a table for printers, a table for assigned printers, and a table for users. And using such a structure allows us to do very fast requests, because it's not one table, one really big table with lots of objects. It's a cross-table request. And when you do a cross-table request, SQL Server is really better than parsing, having to parse a really huge table. So we are also using stored procedures. So actually it's a print from Visual Studio. So I just made the query with plus, because otherwise it's a single line query with the formatting. So the idea is that we have created the queries with Microsoft SQL Expert just to design them. And we are using stored procedures, so everyone knows what a stored procedure is. Yes? So the logic is on the SQL server, so agent is not doing the job. And when you use stored procedures with parameters, here we have a parameter, it's group name, the other one is site ID, they are stored in memory. So SQL Server is only working in memory, which means that the agent, if we don't slow down yet, for example, we had to do a smart slowdown system because the agent was running 100 objects in 400 milliseconds, as QA queries included. But that was the idea, design it to execute the fastest possible queries. So it's using lots of APIs. So the managed code of .NET is just for the graphical interface. And it's relying on APIs. So it's doing the same thing that Windows will do. It's not launching a netuse.exe or something. It's using the API netuse is using. So it's easy to control when there is an issue or not. And we got Windows error messages. So it's standard. So it's ready for evolution. And then I will speed up to the demo. It's ready for evolution because you will, if you test it, you will see that for each action I talked about earlier, you have an action type, which means we can add as many action type as we want, just to change it. For example, we were doing standard shortcuts, we added web shortcuts. We won't need to rewrite anything. It's already in the code. We just have to add here another case, for example. We have added some queries. For example, we are creating registry value. Someone may want to create keys or something. So the idea was to think about, when you think about it at the beginning, it's far easier than to make it evolve. If you have not thought about it, it's really difficult to add columns to the database or something. It's not that easy when you have to migrate. So even if the database, you will see free reserved columns just for future use, so that we won't have some risks when migrating. So also cache is unlike Microsoft GPP. It's not stored on the machine level, it's stored in the user level. So it's stored in registry, and it's an XML sequence stored in the registry. So for every group or user, as long as you know the SID, because we are using SID, you can delete a specific history if you want, or you can just delete the folder or applications folder to remove all cache that the tool could have. That also ensures very fast execution. So the agent is running natively on 64-bit and 32-bit platform as a native process. This was a little challenging with the code, because when you deal with API, you have to be careful about this, otherwise it won't work. Memory footprint has been limited, and there are some nice features we can talk about them after if you want, like some hashtags. So you can call username, client IP address, or all that kind of thing, and write them in an ini file in the registry or something. You also have left, mid, right operations. So I have a customer where you have to create shortcuts with a mid operation on the client name to get the site ID and then create a shortcut and have to drive according to this. So you have that kind of hidden features. The agent is multi-language. For now, it's a community translation. So thanks to all people that helped me, because it's running English, French, German, Dutch, Spanish, and Russian. So if you need another language, you can just use the XML file to create a new one with your translation, and just send it back to me, and I will add it in the next release. It's quite easy. You have the text in English, and just have to match it. So thanks to all the guys that helped me for some translations. Now, let's go. Let's see if it's working. Maybe. The tool is working. For the demo, I don't know. Okay, so that's a standard Windows 2008 R2 desktop. It's a standard user. It's published on small VM. I have one Xen server with 70 VMs, so very performant, but that's the demo center. So here we don't have any customizations, we don't have anything, but sorry for the French language, but we have to rebuild it. So you have the default icons, you have the default application icons, and if you look at the start menu, you have everything, which means so you have control panel, administrative tools, all that kind of stuff. Just like in the my computer, if I'm not deconnected. Right. Since the network is not that good. Okay. Yes, it's in French, but I think there are some display issues. That's because of the latency. So, by the way, let's hope you will see what I've done for the demo. So, you have server drives and you have my client drive. So, I will now launch on the same server. So, I will just take my virtual desktop here and remove it. And it's on the same server, but it's with another user. Actually, for this first user, we have an exclusion. You can configure an exclusion in the tool to say, I don't want it to process these groups. So the empty user I just showed you is excluded, and if I can connect, which, by the way, seems to be a little bit odd. It was working before, not now. Please don't download big things on the hotel Wi-Fi. Okay. I'm using the paying Wi-Fi and it's not working. Oh, what happened? Okay. Okay, so let's hope it won't be too slow. So the session is opening, the profile has been emptied, and you already noticed that there is a theme on it. So that's the first difference we can see. Then we have the Windows 7 look and feel, and the agent is launching. So, and my desktop is ready.
What's your opinion on the active setup stuff that gets put in, gets dropped down by installations? The active setup that does certain per user, configurations. I mean, you generally take them all out and just do it.
Actually, it's not that easy because they are doing lots of stuff, and sometimes you really need it. For example, to apply Internet Explorer group policies, you need them. That's a known knowledge-based article. You need to relaunch the exe, one of the exe. It's IE4 UINET, just to be able to apply internet settings. So for now, I'm just letting Microsoft do the profile installation because it was the first logo and it was not that bad. And the agent is the UI one. It's there. It removed the default icons and paired my applications icons. Yes, we are using Lotus Notes, but that's my actual demo center. Hopefully, we will switch to Exchange soon. Okay, so my start menu has been secured, and let's just have a look at my computer. Okay, I have my network drive, and I don't have the system drives anymore. So, how did I do that? No, because this is the best part. Okay. Now,
who's got this?
Okay. That's the administration console. So, if you use the first version, you will notice lots of improvements. So it's also switching from a tool, so just like a tool, just like the old one CMC. By the way, it was working. to a more friendly one. And we are still working with designers to improve it, but it's all about some glass effects or something. Like I can select, I can use. I think so. Let's just, for example, if it's working quite okay, have a look at the console. So you have actions with filters, assignments, system utilities with, for example, performance management, CPU management, memory management. Because I am running out of time, and VUEM settings, where we have, for example, the UPM management or all the settings that have been logged in this desktop. So I may run out of time just to show you it's not, it's a live demo, for example, but you can talk about it. Just say, I want to add, not to hide any more system properties in Explorer. That's a custom GPO you would need to do if you want to hide it, because Microsoft thought it was a good idea. Oh, come on.
It's coming back. Just wait. Just wait.
Okay. No, okay, my mouse. Okay, so I have my Explorer opened. Here I have my agent. I can ask him to refresh or wait for an automatic refresh. So I will refresh. And I have the system properties here. So it's just dynamic. And as you have seen, you can customize the splash screen. So the deal is just to make it integrated in the user workspace instead of the whole Citrix logo when users were saying Citrix is not working. So here the idea is to integrate it. Yes?
Can you show us the optimized logon time?
Optimize logon times?
Yeah.
How was the logon of this test user in the small demo center, by the way? I can just, what I can do is I can just log off for this user, this one. It was the first logon, which means also all the environment has been prepared, and launch a new logon. So let's also hope that the connection won't hurt, but you will be able to see and see how it's displaying. That's the best I will be able to do, because on this demo center, even if it's small VMs, HIT is seeing something like, I would say 8 seconds. That's the first one. Sorry, I'm missing. Okay. So we are still connected. So let's hope the Wi-Fi will work. Even if I pay 10 euros just for a 20 minutes demonstration. Okay, the nice black spread. This is an app 6, so that's why.
So disable status 1.
Yes.
0.
Yes. So I have my desktop, and we may not see the agent because the work is already done. So the frame. Yes. So that's.
I have it up and running in a typical setup environment with 100 users, so 30 users per box. Typical login times between 10 and 15 seconds. Really fast. Every time.
And lots of support calls. No, really.
Good support.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want to improve.
Yes. No, I'm proud of, even with the 28,000 users deployment, We have just minor issues that have to be fixed. Actually, there is no big bug, big pain in the ass. So it's also there is an integrated trust system, so you know easily where it's failing when you enable the debug mode. So yes. So it's working.
You're not using certificates that are embedded after the program comes out?
No.
No.
To be honest, that's the same for the license system. It's relying on the license keys, but if you want to crack it, you will be able to crack it, even if it's 3062 bits encryption. So only the console is managing the licenses, not the agent. So the agent will continue to work, and the console won't work. That's the same for the community edition. It's free, but every year you have to get a new community edition, and you have a pop-up saying you have a community edition, you have to wait 30 seconds. But even if you use the community edition in production, which means without support, only the console will stop working.
Yeah.
So all your users will still be able to work. So if you want to know more about it, just feel free to ping me here until tomorrow, or just send me an email. We can do whatever you want. Go to meeting presentations. We are open, and I want it to be still community driven, which means even if in 2 weeks I have a developer team, I will be full-time on my developer job, because we have all products, more products related to business automation that will be coming. We still have community edition. Citrustools.net tools will still be free, but you will have a big one that will deploy XenApp and XenDesktop automatically, which will include all of them in a single console, but we will still have the free tools, and we may even open them more, but you will have some challenges to get them, like a Facebook game or things like that, just to do a community work. And I'm still not losing the control. I'm still want it to be driven by the tech people, because really I have written it like if I was using it, and that's why it's really easy to use and to implement. So give it a try, and I really want to have your feedback on it. Thank you.